Hey everyone, welcome back to my podcast, Flowering into 5D. Today I have a very, very exciting guest. Her name is Tena Cacic. Tena is a teacher, writer, and scientist in love with vibrational communication. She helps people release triggers of a victim mentality and tune into the vibrations of the desired reality. Tena played out a lot of drama in her life that pushed her to find a way out from helplessness. Through the victim journey, she learned about the victim game, and now she helps people break free from the victim mentality and turn their dreams into reality. Through the victim journey, she learned about three roles in the victim game and methods that helped her break free from the victim mentality and tune into a life filled with harmonious relationships. Now she helps others do the same. You might be wondering, well, how does she do that? First, she knows that anyone willing to live free of drama can be free. Second, since she rebuilt her life by clearing traumatic event patterns, she knows how to help others do the same. And thirdly, Tena reminds people that all answers are within. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm so excited and I can't wait to start conversation with you and to share what I have to share.
Yes, no, I'm just so curious because I mean, I've experienced your amazing capabilities firsthand, which, hopefully later on in the conversation, I can experience it again because it was so like, wow, mind-blowing for me. But I'm just wondering, like, how rampant do you think victim mentality is in this world?
Victim mentality is all around us, everywhere. And when we communicate with each other, with ourselves, and collectively, we are mainly doing it for the victim mentality.
Hmm.
Victim game is a 3D world way of living, way of doing. If you are not aware of victim game, that you constantly switch between three roles, victim, perpetrator, villain, and savior, then you probably play the victim game.
Ooh, yes. And I mean, I know when you point out other people like, oh, there's a victim over there. I mean, three fingers are pointing back at us, right? But I definitely have seen people that I know personally and don't know personally just are like wearing the victim label like it's a badge of honor. Like, what do you think about that?
Of course. Uh, I will share you my personal experience, why I carried the badge. I am a victim. I am a martyr,
Mm,
martyr mother.
hmm.
When I gave, and by the way, just my personal short story, motherhood story, I have experience of my first baby boy, 3 days old son, suddenly dies. It was characterized as a sudden infant death syndrome. And I have one healthy boy and a little girl. She's 11 years old and she's disabled. She can't walk, talk, so she's completely dependent upon us. And in one point in my life, people were starting to tell me, "Oh, you're so brave. Everything you experience, I'm admiring you. Only a brave and strong people can do that." And I was stuck in my martyr story. I
Hmm.
felt powerful. No one suffers that much that I suffered. I'm better than you. I'm better than everyone. That's the pattern that keeps you locked in a victim game. We may be aware of it or maybe not. You can recognize people, talking about their difficulties, receiving sympathy, and everything what happens in those situations. But if you want to break free from the victim game, you have to give up of your stories. And I felt so deep, you know.
Hmm.
So it was tipping point. I had to decide whether I will continue to be a martyr mother who everyone admires because of the martyrdom, or I'll give up of my stories and create something new, clear my victim game. And by the way, back then, when I was in the middle of it, my own drama, I wasn't aware of a victim game. I found out about it, read about it in Diane Zimberdov's book later, back in 2019. And it was all happening in 2013, 14, 15.
Wow, that's powerful stuff. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And out of curiosity, because this applies so much to you. How do you think that it's possible that some kids are born disabled or ill or angry or depressed, just even from the same parents?
That is a very, very interesting question I ask myself a lot of times. And I have a scientific background. I started my PhD in communication, so I was surrounded and involved in a scientific literature, but the science couldn't give me an answer. Why my baby died suddenly? Sudden infant death syndrome is not a diagnosis. It's not heart failure. It's I don't know what happened. Literally, that means I don't know. And I start questioning my reality, questioning previous scientific theories. I was searching for answers, very, very strong. My whole life was dedicated to find out what happened with my baby. And when I experienced disabled, it's a KCNQ2 genetic mutation de novo. That means that she developed it and not I'm not carrier, neither my husband is carrier. So why? It should be some answer to that. It's like possibility. It's maybe easier to win the lottery than to experience those two, unexplainable events in your lifetime, in your 35 years. And I found scientists and the streams in physics, in math, in geometry, in science of consciousness, and my search for answers began, and it led me to this place where I am now, when I can say that it's a soul contract. We are not just our bodies. We agreed, and in the moments of despair, I had that voice in me, and you have it in you, that tells you, that talks to you. It's okay. You agree to have that experience. You can get out of it. Yeah, you will resolve. You will live in the reality where you're happy, where your daughter is healthy, where everything is peaceful. So that's how it looked in my path, and what I now believe about how it can happen, that those unexplainable events, and there are more unexplainable events than explainable. So we are totally into a new paradigm, 5D. We are flowering into 5D.
Yes, yes. I couldn't agree more. I mean, yeah, you already know that's the name of my podcast, because it's coming, and there's no stopping it, I think. And I love that you brought up soul contracts. I actually just was speaking with someone about this last week, about, in my opinion, there are no coincidences, and the soul comes to experience something, whether it be for better or for worse. It's like, we're here for this reason. So I guess I would like to kind of just ask, like, is this the reason that perhaps, like, God or source allows suffering on earth? Like, what do you think about that statement? Is it an allow, or is it what do you think?
Here is what I think. This earth is a place of a free will. And if you love someone so much, you allow that one to have experience he or she choose. Your heart bleeds, but if he or she didn't ask you, you won't interfere. Although it's like, that something is not good for a person, particularly in a relationship, that the guy is not good, but you cannot tell them. Tell your friend that his partner is cheating, let's say. because she can't hear it, she can't accept it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she will blame you, and it's better, okay, I love you. My heart breaks, but I accept you and your choices. And how much you should love someone to allow to witness your loved one to hurt, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
accept it as a choice. Oh, it's not, you know, that romantic love, it's a deep
Mm-hmm.
love.
Mm-hmm.
You know that he or she is you,
Mm-hmm.
and he also divine being, also have capabilities, but you cannot save anyone who doesn't want to be saved. So what is very important to know, in this earth we have that victim game reality, and we are collecting experiences, and now we are done. We are
Mm-hmm.
done with the victim game, and we are accelerating, ascending, flowering into 5D. And there are people who are not ready, whose
Mm-hmm.
belief system doesn't allow them, and they're perfectly healthy, you know, with their own choices. And it's not my to tell my mom, you know, what she needs to do to whatever. You know, I'm not a prophet, and
Mm-hmm.
at the soul level, at the highest level, everything is just a game. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you're watching the TV, and you're watching these actors, and you don't want to, no, 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 don't do that. You don't want to interfere, you know.
Yeah.
After after all, it's just a game, you know. So
Yeah.
we agreed to play, and now it's time to play something maybe more exciting than a pain game, fear game. We are
Yes.
going to play in a love,
I love
flower,
this. I love this.
finally sovereignty game. Yeah.
I love it so much. And you know what? This really like hit home for me because this is actually something I've been struggling with. And I never actually, until you started speaking about it now, I never saw it as myself playing the victim game. And that was that my relative is very much resistant to any kind of advice that I have tried to give over the years. I'm like, here's some wonderful advice that will fix your life, and they would just bloop, like ignore me. And I'd be like, why don't they want my advice? It's wonderful. You know, it's, I did it and they can do it. And of course, it's coming from a place of love. Obviously, I'm not coming from a place of judgment or like, oh, you're messed up, so let me fix you. But yeah, wow, it's like another layer of the victim where I thought, like, I don't have problems with being a victim anymore. That's something I can shed, but clearly not. Now, I should say I have kind of reached the point where I'm like, you know what? Like, for lack of better terms, you can't force a horse to drink water. You can just lead them to the water and say, like, either you drink or you don't. I'm just here either way. And I think that, I mean, I feel like I have come to that point in my life where I'm kind of done giving the unsolicited advice. It really doesn't help, and it just leaves me feeling a little bitter, to be honest with you.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I'm so
Yeah.
happy that you mentioned this word bitter. So,
Yeah.
is any chance that you feel bitterness somewhere in your body when you think about it right now?
Hmm. Hmm. I would say probably there's a couple of places I'm trying to figure out where it's most powerful. I would say right here, like kind of not in my heart, but like kind of in my sternum. No, sternum
Okay.
is
And what
right
is the
here.
level of intensity right now?
Hmm. I want to say like a 4. It's not like a heavy one, but it's there.
Okay. 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 Just focus on your heart and repeat in the third person
Hmm.
after me. I'm so sorry it hurts.
I'm so sorry it hurts.
Okay. When that intention appeared, when you thought about what? Bitterness or something else?
Say again, sorry.
Okay, tune
Hmm.
into that and finish my sentence.
Okay.
Just the first thing that pops in your head. This is the energy of,
Hmm. Frustration
okay, tune into that. Allow yourself to feel it fully and completely and repeat after me. This frustration.
is tiring.
this energy of frustration, you can just for fun repeat it just to see what will happen. This pure energy of frustration
This pure energy of frustration
is not personal.
is not personal.
This pure energy of frustration is not personal.
This pure energy of frustration is not personal.
And I'm willing to experience it.
And I'm willing to experience it.
And by the way, when something is releasing, I'm yawning. So, yeah. So, how it feels right now in that place?
It feels like light, like it's like a zero.
Okay, cool. And let's do some fun stuff. Here is some very fast process you can do when you are maybe stuck, find yourself stuck in a problem, in frustration, in whatever you do not prefer. When you are in the middle of the problem is so huge, is so big, so you can't see the way out. When you are in that place, just ask yourself, what is everything that is not a problem? And turn around, okay, it's not camera, it's not mouse, it's not glasses, it's not excitement, it's not, okay, possibilities. You just focus what it is not. Can you sense something shifting? And here is one more important thing I want to share. State we are in. Excitement, depression, whatever state, good state and bad state, we prefer and we do not prefer, can scientifically, can organically last only 90 seconds, a minute and a half. The question is why we are in a state longer than we should be, particularly if we do not prefer, because we are empowering those states. So just imagine that state you do not prefer as a fire, and your thoughts, actions, values, and beliefs are like a wood you're putting into your fire. It's your story you're putting into your fire. So what story do you want to be, enlightened, to be in that unpleasant story you do not prefer, or you prefer? Just stop being engaged in your story. That's something what I learned recently. And the process, everything that is not, that this story is not, and turn around, okay, lamp, wall, and your mind will switch into some positive. And then you can say, oh, wow, what else is possible? And then you can imagine that problem, that issue, like so small, everything that is bigger, just consider everything that is bigger than that issue, stars, moon, universe. So that issue becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And now you find yourself in a state you prefer. You just remember state when you received something awesome, when you had an awesome day, and allow that state of, oh, wow, there are so many possibilities waiting for you. For me, for everyone. You never know how far a change will go.
Yes, I love that. And you know what? It's so perfect because like I feel like my personal calling is to help people with borderline personality disorder to basically make it so that they're no longer associating themselves with the symptoms. And I don't want to say healing themselves because I'm not a medical professional, but putting themselves into remission, and just no longer identifying with the symptoms that the BPD outlines, which is 9 of them. And it's just so awesome to hear you say that, because it's sometimes it feels like it's a little bit of a not a losing battle, but it's just there's a lot of victim in BPD. I have big emotions. Life is so hard for me. Everyone's trying to leave me behind, and and it's just so wonderful to hear you say, like, you can choose, you can stop feeding that story. And I'm just so excited that the way that you presented that was so wonderful. So thank you so much for sharing that.
And how do you feel in relation when you, let's say, witness all those people struggling and living in pain? How do you feel it in your body? How do you feel it personally? Does that affect you? You're totally cool, neutral.
I think I'd like to think at this point I'm fairly neutral. I'm not like, I mean, if you were to talk to me a few years ago, I'd be like, oh, so annoying, like look at these victims around here. But now I recognize it as these are like my people to help. So it's not really annoying that they're struggling. I'm just, here to hold space for them and just share my light with them. And even if they're like, yeah, whatever, I don't take it personally. And I also see myself as just planting seeds. And maybe, one day it will be helpful for them and maybe not, but I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because I really like it.
Yes, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
I felt if you feel, or someone else, who works with people, that's how I felt before. What is different between helping and saving? When you
Mm,
feel resentment toward someone who you are helping, or a client, or your mom, and if you feel resentment, that's because it's a savior role. You're doing it from the savior role. But if you're
mm,
doing it from sovereignty, then okay, you are perceiving that person as well as it's perfectly capable to do, and you are not obligated to help. And here is the dynamic in the victim game. Savior saves victim
mhm,
because savior perceives victims as poor me, poor you,
mhm,
helpless. And in
mhm,
order to feel powerful, savior saves. I'm superhero, yeah.
mhm,
And in the victim game, roles are switching.
mhm,
In one point, victim starts to resent savior. Okay, and savior starts to resent victim. Let's say that you are helping your friend and you never received, oh, thank you very much, or whatever, or it's over your boards, crossed your boards, and
mhm,
you feel like you're used. If you feel some emotional intensity where you're helping someone, or any time in your physical life, in your daily life, that shows you that something needs to be addressed and needs to be healed. In other hand, when you help people from your sovereignty, you perceive them as powerful as you are, just they forget. And it's up to
mhm,
them if they are equally powerful to solve their own problems, and you're just here to give them a hand. It's not about you. You're not saving them. You're not a superhero. You're not a god. You just
mhm,
allow the source to work through you, and then you can relax.
mhm. Yes. I love that. And that's part of the reason why I really love theta healing because it's when you're working as a theta healer, you're not the healer. Like I know I said working as a theta healer, but you part of doing it is recognizing that you are just the vessel for the creator to do the healing and you're just there. Like, and I think that's such a powerful shift because yeah, as soon as you get this mentality that you're healing people and it's very it can shift you right back into the victim game, it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, the whole humanity plays the victim game.
Hmm.
And if you want just to quickly share with you how it became visible during Corona time, maybe 1 minute, just to see
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
not about you, it's you are a divine being. It's just the game we agree to play. One pattern in a victim game is not being you, not being authentic. Put a mask,
Hmm.
hide, go
Hmm.
into a closet, avoid that everyone sees you. No one must see you. So what happens? Your authenticity is buried deeply, and you're wearing masks. And what we witnessed during Corona time, masks. Everybody
Hmm.
wore masks. And we also the victim game. First, the victim was people, World Health Organization and government saviors, and the villain was virus, and the
Hmm.
role switched. So in one moment, villain turned into savior, and the government turned into villain and people victim. So we were praying God, oh my God, please, I would like to catch the virus, so I will get that stamp, for.
Mm-hmm.
So and the people start resenting government, and that's because it's a victim game, it's the rules. And if you want to break free, become aware of it and just clear triggers during your day and don't be engaged in your own drama, neither in your personal drama and also not into collective drama. Particularly collective drama is visible now. Lots of wars, that villain role, that all buried hatred, anger is now surfacing, and we are having what we have.
It's true. And I mean, I think also like it's so important how you spend your time, like what you're looking at. Like if you're always looking at this war and anger and stuff, then you're just gonna fuel your own fire for that. And since when is that helpful?
Those woods putting in the fire, in the fear, scare, be scared.
It's so
Yeah.
true. I personally don't watch any news or anything like that. And I feel so much better for it. I mean, sometimes people will try and tell me, like, do you not know what's going on? I'm like, no, and it's actually great. Like it's
Yeah.
awesome. Everyone's wonderful and I love you all. Thank you. Like it's so much
Yeah.
easier that way.
Yeah. Indeed, and when you witnessed people suffering, I just go into my heart and say to myself, I'm so sorry
Hmm.
you're suffering,
Hmm.
and give myself compassion for all the suffering in the world. Your
Hmm.
compassionate heart is the most powerful healing force in the whole universe.
Hmm.
Your authenticity, the most powerful, source, energy source is your authenticity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I find also it's hard for a lot of people to be their authentic selves because in my opinion anyways, people are too busy distracting themselves with media or sports or whatever it is or movies or something and like they don't even really know who they are. This is a classic thing for borderline personality disorder is it's like the struggle is like they don't know who they are and it's like, well, first of all, you need to take that stuff away to just hear your own voice, period. It's one of those things.
Yeah, and do you know why they don't know who they are?
Um, I think it's because they thought it would be a lot easier to just be who they want, like who others want them to be, because of trauma that they experienced in the past.
Yeah. And in a victim game, everyone switch roles.
Mm,
So everyone are meshing with each other. They don't know who they are. They really literally don't know who they are. Sometimes they are saviors, sometimes they are victims, they are villain, and they're totally confused
yes.
because they don't know boundaries. And
Hmm.
because in victim game, everyone energetically interferes in each other field. I see it, I perceive it, I imagine for myself like a song. We are songs and we have tones. And when let's say I'm arguing with you, I'm pushing my tones into your field and you're pushing your in mine. And now imagine lifetimes of arguing, lifetimes of saving, of victimization. And you're not you anymore. And what we are doing
Hmm.
in the spiritual acceleration, just leave, we are clearing all energy that is not you. And now just let's do a quick process. All vows of agreement, we are
Yes.
bringing to the highest level all people we were in interaction with, our mother, our father, our family lineage, our people from childhood, from all lifetime space dimension realities. We were in interaction. We played the victim game. All vows of agreements being cleared, all implants, victimizing implants being removed, now allowing the field, the architect, source field, 15-dimensional field to heal all those locks, everything that locked us in a victim game, in changing roles between victim, villain, and perpetrator. Now all our mom's energy out of our fields, or our dad's energy out of our fields, our children's, and we are liberating and we are bringing our energy soul pieces back to us. And now we are integrating. It's time to be authentic. I recognize my authenticity in every cell in my body. Mhm.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay. So what's happening? Can you sense something in your body, maybe?
I am feeling like an expansion, an absolute
Mhm.
expansion, because that was some powerful stuff.
And imagine how good life can be without a victim game. So
Yes.
many people don't want to release the victim game because they were a bit bored. Drama is
Hmm.
something exciting. That's because when we were growing up, when everything was calm and mellow, we felt bored. We were just waiting something to happen, drunk
Hmm.
father to make a scene or to find depressive mother in Owen.
Hmm.
So we have that stone in our shoes, and now it's time to release all stones in our shoes and to heal all pictures that we carry in our field, pictures of our mom's words, our dad's words, their values. Their values are not our values. We are free to have our own values, to live our life according to our own rules. What do we choose? What do you choose?
Hey everyone. Oh my goodness, that was so powerful. I absolutely loved having Tena on. Unfortunately, we got cut off, as what happens with the 40-minute free Zoom plan. But I will just quickly tell you how you can reach Tena if you want to work with her. I mean, I'm still like, wow, I'm still like in shock of how awesome that was. So, first of all, her website, I'll spell it out. It's tenacacic.com, and that is TENACACIC.com. And you can also find her on Instagram, Tena underscore Cacic. So I'll spell that TENA underscore CACIC. CACIC. Yes, my light died again. What can we do? Thank you so much for listening, everyone, and watching. And I will see you next week. Bye.